Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the January 2nd, 2024 organization meeting of the Millburn Township Committee, which is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws, 1975, be advised that notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board in Town Hall and forwarding to the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at Town Hall at 7 p.m. today, January 2nd, 2024. Meeting details and the draft agenda have been posted. I kindly ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone just continue standing for the invocation, which will be presented by Rabbi Mendel Solomon of Shabbat at Short Hills.
And we don't see him.
Don't see him, so perhaps he was a little delayed, so perhaps we'll move on, and if we see him enter, we will bring that back. Okay, everyone? At the 2023 general election, Frank Secamandi and Ben Stoller were both elected to the Township Committee for 3-year terms expiring on December 31st, 2026.
No, he's here. There you are.
Great. I'm circling back and standing ready for invocation. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Oh. Good evening, Mayor, members of Council, Township, officials and staff, and fellow residents. As a long-time proud resident of Millburn Township, I'm honored to have been asked to lead this evening's invocation. Let us pray. Almighty God, as we stand here today at the start of the new year of 2024, let us be reminded of the ancient saying in the Jewish Book of Wisdom that a little bit of light can dispel much darkness. We are living through turbulent times with emotionally charged global and domestic issues. This past year exhibited a tremendous darkness with hatred and terror, as well as individuals dealing with significant challenges. From where do we garner the strength to forge ahead with a strong and positive attitude? We receive this from our Heavenly Father and from each other. Let us hope and pray that each one of us can have the strength and courage to be that beacon of light that will overshadow the darkness that surrounds us. While we cannot get rid of darkness, darkness must be replaced with light. May you, our Heavenly Father, bless and guide all the elected officials, administrators, and staff of our remarkable township, our state and our country, with the wisdom and insight to lead and to bring hope, justice, democracy, and freedom, to inspire and guide all of our residents, so that we can dedicate ourselves wholly to enhancing life in the township through fulfilling our civic and godly duties. Help us, dear God, to enhance this message of charity, love, and caring to all people in our township and beyond. May the Almighty bless the sacred assembly and the reorganization of our township's government and guide our township's leaders so that they can heighten the material and moral fiber of our blessed township. May God bless Millburn Township. And may God bless the United States of America. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At the end of 2023, the general election, Frank Secamandi and Ben Stoller were both elected to the Township Committee for 3-year terms expiring on December 31st, 2026. I kindly ask Frank Secamandi to please stand so Senator John Bramnick may administer his oath of office for appointment to the Millburn Township Committee.
All right, let's see what we have. So we'll have I just want to say, I love to see democracy where we respect government and transition to government. And that's why I'm so proud to be here. Really important for our country and our nation. I did see my good friend John McKeon. Just remember this, I just want to say, we're on opposite sides of the aisle and we're close personal friends. Good to see you, Assemblyman Nick Senator. Anyway, if you would put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Frank Sacamandi,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to same
and allegiance to same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
Township
Committee Member
Committee Member
of Milburn Township,
of Milburn Township,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Just
You don't have to do that. I'll sign the affirmation for you.
I kindly ask Ben Stoller to please stand. So Senator John Grant may administer his oath of office.
Okay. Who are we gonna hold them on? You wanna bring the whole, how about the whole family? How about everybody? You can hold the Bible. Everybody will stand behind you and we'll bring the councilman right here. You put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ben Stoller,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to same
to same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Township Committee Member
Township Committee Member
of Milburn Township,
of Milburn Township,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. That's your pen. Take it home.
I will now call a roll call vote to note those present. Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Ms. Prupus? Here. Ms. Romano?
Here.
Mr. Sacamandi?
Here.
Mr. Stoller?
Present.
Thank you. The record will show that all members of the Milburn Township Committee are present for this meeting. May I have a motion to amend the agenda and move resolution 24-021, awarding the professional service contract and appointing Jared Cantor as township attorney out of the consent agenda and vote on the resolution before we move forward. We want to ensure the township formally approves the appointment of the new township attorney before the committee continues with their meeting.
I move that we amend the agenda and pull resolution 24-021 out of the consent agenda and vote on it now.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve resolution 24-021, awarding the professional service contract and appointing Jared Cantor as township attorney?
I motion to approve resolution 24-021.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Ms. Prupus?
Yes.
Ms. Romano,
Yes.
Mr. Sacamandi,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a nomination for mayor for 2024?
I nominate Tara Prupus.
Is there a second?
I second.
Will the nominee accept the nomination?
No.
Are there any other nominations for mayor?
I nominate Annette Romano.
May I have a second?
Second.
Will the nominee accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for mayor?
I nominate Ben Stoller.
May I have a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations for mayor?
I nominate Frank Sacamandi.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for, yeah, will you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for mayor?
Michael, do you want to be nominated?
I do.
Seeing there are multiple nominations for mayor, while I call for a roll call vote, I ask that each member of the township committee state the name of the nominated member that they wish to serve as mayor for 2024. Mr. Cohen,
Annette Romano.
Ms. Prupus,
Annette Romano.
Ms. Romano,
Annette Romano.
Mr. Sacamandi,
In the interest of providing unity, I'm going to also vote for Annette Romano because I feel the town needs to come together and work together on a bipartisan basis.
Mr. Stoller,
I abstain.
congratulations, Annette Romano. I will happily turn over. Thank you.
I'd like to call for nominations for deputy mayor, vice chair for 2024. Are there any nominations?
I'll nominate Frank Sacamandi.
I'll second that nomination.
I will accept the nomination.
Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Cohen,
Yes, Sacamandi.
Ms. Prupus,
Yes.
Mr. Sacamandi,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Abstained.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move, congratulations to Committeeman Stoller, Committeeman Sacamandi, and I look forward to working with you both. So we did the mayoral appointments, even though these appointments are listed as mayoral appointments, I just want everyone to know that we did work together as a group in putting these appointments together. So I would like to announce the following appointments for the 2024 Art Advisory Committee. Victoria Plummer, Donna Davis, Lorraine Barak, Oscar Peterson, myself as liaison, Amy McGovern, Andrew Permission, Gail Turner, Michelle Sanfilippo, advisor, Emily Whitley, Linda Blenars, Yanwen Hu, Pamela Polifron. I'd like to announce the following appointments for the Environmental Commission. Priya Patel, reappointed to a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Bill Brazel, appointed to a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Renee Perparian, appointed to a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Vanita Gangwal, appointed as alternate 1 to a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025. I'd also like to announce the appointment of Renee Perparian as chairperson of the Environmental Commission for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the following appointments to the Board of Recreation. John Ryder, reappointed to a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2028. Anthony Wolk, appointed as alternate 2 to a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025. I'd like to announce the following appointments to the Planning Board. Srini Vijay, Class 5, reappointed to a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2027. Allison Canfield, Historic Preservation Commission member, reappointed as a Class 2 member for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. David Cosgrove, Class 5, reappointed. David Cosgrove, Class 4, reappointed to a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025 as alternate 1. I'd like to announce the appointment of Michael Cohen and Ellen Ceruto as trustees to the Coral Hirschhorn Arboretum and Bird Sanctuary for 1-year terms ending December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the appointment of Michael Cohen as the Class 1 member designee to the Planning Board for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. And I'd like to announce the appointment of Michael Cohen as the member of the Board of Trustees to the Millburn Free Public Library for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the designation of the following Township Committee members as liaisons to boards and committees, commissions for 2024 as follows. Board of Recreation, Ben Stoller. Community Service Award, Annette Romano. I'd like to announce the members of the Township Committee who will serve on the following ad hoc subcommittee. Finance, Michael Cohen and Ben Stoller. Okay, mayoral appointments with consent. Okay. I'd like to announce that pursuant to statute, with the consent of the Township Committee, as mayor, I will be the Group 1 member of the Emergency Management Council for a term corresponding with my official tenure as mayor. I'd like to announce the following appointment with consent of the Township Committee to the Millburn Free Public Library. Sarah Sherman, reappointed to a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2028. I'd like to announce the following appointments with consent of the Township Committee to the Historic Preservation Commission. Allison Canfield, Class C, reappointed to a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2027. Nancy Stone, Class C, appointed to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2026. Justin Sealand, Class 3, appointed as an alternate 1 to a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025. Brad Jenkins, Class C, appointed as alternate 2 to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the appointment with consent of the Township Committee of Annette Romano as liaison to the Senior Citizen Advisory Board for 1-year term ending on December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the reappointment with consent of the Township Committee of Elizabeth Volavon as member of the Shade Tree Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st, 2026. I'd like to announce the appointment with consent of the Township Committee of W. McDonald Snow as member of Shade Tree Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. I'd like to announce the following appointments with the consent of the Township Committee to the 2024 Senior Citizen Advisory Board. Mary Ann Moore, Ellie Prock, Chair, Gail Turner, Lisa Chinosky Singer, Jamie Hawkins or Town Hall Designee, Ellen Steinberg, Anthony Walk, Robert Vorsanger, Madusta Kenda Puntum, Ellen Ceruto, Suzanne Zimmer, Trina Frankel, Linda Blanaris, John Rutter, Richard Siebert. I'd like to announce the reappointment with consent of the Township Committee of Jennifer Rooney as member of the Local Assistance Board for a 1-year term ending on December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the reappointment with consent of the Township Committee of Annette Romano as member of the Local Assistance Board for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. I'd like to announce the appointment with consent of the Township Committee of David Sorkin as member of the Local Assistance Board to an expired term ending December 31st, 2026.
I move that the Township Committee give approval and consent to the mayor's appointments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Township Committee appointments. I move that Ben Stoller be appointed as member of the Board of Education, Township Committee, Board of Recreation Committee, Fields Committee for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the following people be appointed as members of the 2024 Community Service Award Committee. Dora Janae, Elaine Becker, Jennifer Mann Rosenblatt, Jennifer Duckworth, Jane Sean, Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg, Bingyu Ben Zhang, and Ning Yu, and Leah Cruz.
All those,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the following reappointment be made for the Board of Health, Trina Frankel, MD, as an alternate number 2 member for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move that the following member be appointed as the 2024 Board of Education Liaison, Ben Stoller.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Robert Borod be reappointed as Municipal Public Defender for the year 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. I move that Richard Copeland be reappointed municipal prosecutor for the year 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Joseph Caulfield be appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustment to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2026.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. I move that Gary Rosen be reappointed to the zoning board of adjustment to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2027.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Priscilla Sarf be appointed to Zoning Board of Adjustment as alternate number 1 to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Shio-Shan Derek Peng be appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustment as alternate number 2 to an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Frank Secamende be appointed as a Class 3 member of the Planning Board for a 1-year term ending on December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that the following members be appointed to the Dispatch Joint Meeting for 2024. Ben Stoller, Township Committee Liaison, Alex McDonald, Township Administrator, Robert Echeverria, Fire Chief.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. I move that the following people be appointed as members of the 2024 Parking Ad Hoc Committee. Donna Ruggiero, Tax Collector, Alex McDonald, Township Administrator, or Designee.
Second. I'm sorry.
Oh,
There's more.
Annette Romano and Socrates Barbosa.
Second.
All those in favor?
I move that the following people be appointed as members of the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board. Peter Tailing, resident, appointed to a 3-year term ending on December 31st, 2026. Mayor Annette Romano, Township Committee member. Christine Burton, Superintendent of School or designee. Mary Epstein, Parent Teacher Organization Council Safety Committee designee. Christine Bugle, Assistant Engineer or designee. Brian Gilfetter, Police Chief. Alex McDonald, Township Administrator.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye. I move that Matt Larcy be reappointed treasurer for a term of 1 year ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Alex McDonald be appointed as Milburn Public Agency Compliance Officer for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that the following members of the clergy be appointed and designated as chaplains to the police department for the year 2024. Reverend M. Kristen Barron, St. Rose of Lima Church, Rabbi Matthew D. Gertz, Congregation B'nai Jeshurun, Rabbi Ari Eisenberg of Congregation B'nai Israel, and Reverend Christopher Diebold of Covenant Presbyterian Church.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that the following members of the clergy be reappointed as chaplains to the fire department for the year 2024. Father Chris from St. Rose of Lima Church.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Robert Hingo be appointed as representative to the Essex County Transportation Advisory Board and the Lackawanna Coalition for 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that the following members be appointed to the Milburn Short Hills Business Organization, Inc. District Management Corporation Board of Trustees. Lexi Clark, Operator Trustee, appointed to a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg, Resident Trustee, appointed to a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Ben Stoller, Township Committee member, reappointed to a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024. Richard Wasserman, Mayor's designee, appointed to a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024 as a non-voting ex officio member. Alex McDonald, Business Administrator or his designee, reappointed to a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2024 as a non-voting ex officio member.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move that Annette Romano be appointed as a representative to the joint meeting of Essex and Union County.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, I just wanted to recognize our dignitaries that joined us tonight. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here tonight. Senator-elect John McKeon, Senator John Bramlett, Mayor Becker, and I don't think I missed anyone else walking in. Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor Lieberberg and former Deputy Mayor Wasserman were here. Are they still here? Sorry. Okay. Before we move on to public comment, would any township committee members like to make any remarks? We can start with our new elected officials. Committeeman Sacramento, or we could start with you.
Sure, I'll go. I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my wife, Michelle, and our children, Elizabeth, Gabrielle, Nathan, and Sarah, 2 of which are here today, for their support and love and patience throughout this election cycle. I also wish to express my sincere appreciation to my running mate, Frank, and his husband, Jerry, whose dedication and hard work were integral to our success. Thank you to the entire team who worked tirelessly on our campaign. And I also want to thank Milburn Short Hills residents for entrusting us with this responsibility. As your town council member, I want to make a pledge to you all that I will do everything in my power to prioritize transparency, professionalism, civility, kindness, and respect in all our actions and decisions. My goal for the TC is to provide strong leadership for our town, and these values are essential to achieving this goal. When we say transparency, We mean being open and honest with you about our decisions and actions, communicating clearly and frequently, and being able to listen to your feedback and concerns. When we say professionalism, we mean conducting ourselves in a manner that is respectful, responsible, and accountable, and acting in the best interest of our town and its residents. When we say civility, we mean treating everyone with respect and kindness, even when we disagree. We can work together to find solutions facing our town, and we can do so in a way that is respectful and civil. When we say kindness, we mean compassionate and empathetic towards others. And when we say respect, we mean valuing your opinions as residents. These values are essential to building a strong, unified community, and we are committed to upholding them within our actions and decisions. Despite the challenges that Millburn is currently experiencing, we are fortunate to possess a plethora of assets that we can leverage. In my opinion, the most valuable of these assets are the remarkably talented people in this room and the residents in our township. They consist of the most intelligent financiers, architects, writers, professionals, builders, lawyers, doctors, and entrepreneurs. By fostering a civic engagement involving all of these talented individuals, we can have the best decision-making process and work together to advance the betterment of our town. I understand that some may choose to engage in political gamesmanship, but I am committed to solely serving the people of Millburn Short Hills without regard to political affiliations. Despite pressure to compromise any values or forces that may harm us and may have harmed in the past, we will not acquiesce. We have an unwavering commitment to work together and do the best for our town. Thank you.
So I'd first like to take a moment to thank Senator Abramick for being here tonight to swear Ben and me in. It's been a great honor, so thank you for that. I'd also like to thank my husband, who has been my partner in life, in the campaign, and all else. I would not be sitting up here today if it were not for all of the hard work that he put in. I also want to thank my entire campaign team, specifically Jean Pasternak, for all of her hard work and dedication, and the whole rest of the team. A lot of us really came together from all different walks of life and political backgrounds to get Ben and I elected. And we are so grateful, and we are gonna do what we promised and represent the residents to the best of our ability. I would also like to thank my running mate, Ben. Couldn't have had a better running mate. Ben's been my partner in crime during the campaign, and you know, Ben and I are going to be working hard on behalf of all the residents, and we're certainly looking forward to, at least I can say, I'm certainly looking forward to working to all of the rest of the members up on this dais. For too long, I think there has been too much of a partisan divide in this town. Prior township committees over the past several years, they have various factions, and a lot of times the things that were best for the town didn't end up happening because of people's personal political issues or, you know, biases against one another. And it's time for all that to end. It's time for unity. We need to work together. We have a lot of very complex issues that we're going to be facing as a town, and we're going to have to all work together hand in hand. And we're going to need all of the residents to help. We're going to need all of your ideas and your input and your advice. And we're looking forward to setting up some additional committees. So one of the things that we'll be talking about in a future meeting, because we don't have new business on the agenda tonight, we're going to hopefully discuss bringing back a second public comment period. We're also going to discuss the creation of an affordable housing advisory committee so that residents can have direct involvement in the fair share housing process. We're also going to discuss the creation of a finance advisory committee so that, again, residents can have a direct involvement in budgetary decisions. And we'll also be working to make modifications to the HBC ordinance to allow for greater public transparency in any future HBC designations. So thank you all for being here and for your support. And I want to thank my fellow committee members for being here tonight. Thank you.
Committeeman Cullen?
I would just like to say that I'm encouraged by the words that we've heard, specifically the drive for professionalism, for stability. Those are values that have certainly always been important to me. I'm encouraged by the fact that prior to this meeting, we've been able to work together and as a group agree on all the appointments that you just heard. And as has been stated, we have a lot of challenges facing us, but I think as we all work together as a team and with the public, that we will come up with the best solutions.
Thank you. Committee Woman Fritz?
Sound good?
I'd like to thank my fellow committee people for having the faith in me. I've lived here my entire life and no one loves this town as much as I do. It's time for the politics to stop and the governing to begin. I'm confident that we will all work together in doing what's best for Millburn. We may not always agree, but debate and discussion is what makes this country great. So, thank you. Okay. Public comment. When invited to speak, to offer your comments, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name and whether you are a Millburn resident and or property or business owner. Please do not provide your full address, seeing our meetings are recorded and are readily available to the public. For the convenience of our community, there is a remote option. If you called in and would like to comment, please press *6 now. If you are attending by computer or electric device, please click the raise hand button and be sure your video is on when you comment. All members of the public wishing to speak will be put into the queue to address the committee. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comments to 1 3-minute session. You will be prompted when there is 30 seconds remaining. A reminder that this is not time for dialogue or to debate a matter, and this is a time during our business meeting for the public to offer comments. At the conclusion of public comment period, and if they wish to, professionals and committee members may respond to comments made by the public. Members of the public are welcome to contact the township or township committee at any time outside of our regular business meetings for requests for information and or with questions. A reminder that we all are neighbors and personal attacks are strongly discouraged. I will now open the public comment period.
Charles Bambara, Millburn Township resident for 27 years. I just want to emphasize some of the comments were made. There were elections in November. 4 candidates ran for election. I do not want to say that any of them lost because in my mind, they all won by coming forward and seeking to represent us on the committee. However, Ben Stoller and Frank Saccomondi wound up having a 2/3 majority, nearly 2/3. If the township wanted status quo, they would have elected the other 2 candidates. Clearly, the township mandate was for change, and I hope you'll all be committed to delivering that change to the Millburn residents. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric Osserman, longtime Millburn resident. I'm delighted to see Frank and Ben up here with all of you. I just want to mention one thing to Mayor Romano. It's gratifying to hear that the politics are over. I think that to put into action your statement that you ought to consider strongly resigning as head of the Millburn Democratic Committee. I think that would be a very strong signal that the politics are over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Feld, a long-term resident located in the Poets section of Millburn. I'm just going to talk about some consent agenda items. The first one is on the temporary budget. And there's an allocation of $55,000 to the SID, which sort of contradicts statements that were made in the presence of the Assistant BA and our mayor at the last SID meeting, where Mr. Grillo said that only 26% of his ordinance appropriation would be allocated in the temporary budget. This has been an issue that's been going on for years as to, because it's a statutory amount, approximately 26% of the appropriation gets allocated in the temporary budget. As we all know, and as our new municipal attorney will be learning, that there's been issues as to the validity of the appointed expanded SID under state law, and that there will be mediation. At the last meeting, there were statements made by the BA and Councilperson Prupus as to structural deficiencies in the SID, and I think those need to be explained to the public for that kind of statement. There's a resolution about the authority for the CFO to make payments outside of the bill list. The question is, will those payments be told to the public? Can it be approved nunc pro tunc? Because also it talks about he can make payments on salary and wages. And this is something I've been talking about years, that we need, you and us need to be able to monitor S&W as to see what percentage has been done or whether there's been going over, let's say, an overtime. I'm happy it took us 3.5 years to have a new municipal attorney. I wish you good luck, because I think we will be speaking about many issues in the years to come. But also, there's an issue about the special outside redevelopment council and the municipal attorney. In the redevelopment handbook that I referred to years ago, this was issued in 2012, it's best policy that we have an independent, that the municipal attorney not be the same person who's our special redevelopment council, that we have another set of eyes looking at that. As to the changes that you're adopting the rules, please consider the second time for citizens to speak. In addition, look at Livingston, and we have the municipal attorney of Livingston. They have 2 opportunities. When you have agenda action items, you give 4 minutes, and at the end of the meeting, you have 3 minutes. Why aren't we being consistent? There's questions about, I think we should have an update about the cross motions that were filed. And I think there was a call at the last meeting that we have a public forum, understanding, because major change was introduced in the state legislature. If I could have a few more, like a minute more, please. Amending the Fair Housing Act. And I think there really needs to be a discussion with our new municipal attorney and our new outside redevelopment planning attorney, explaining what are the changes and maybe analyzing first what really happened before and looking today and seeing going forward. Also, there were promises at the planning board that the open space rec field report that was given to the planning board be posted on a public website. Please do that. I do not understand. And again, the best to everyone here. And as I escort my wife to Cornell, to the business school and the law school, when I see all the graduate students, I say to them 2 things. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. But like in Star Wars, there will become a moment in time where you'll be challenged whether to don't cross over to the dark side. I wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is David Elefant. I'm a 30-year plus resident of Short Hills. I want to say Happy New Year to the Township Committee and to the community. Congratulations to the newly installed TC members and the newly elected mayor. As it relates to your HPC appointments this evening and the HPC ordinance that you made reference to, I am reminded of a paradigm that I live by. It goes like this: intent, behavior, impact. It's a continuum relevant for all of our lives. The intent someone has is truly only known to them. Behaviors and actions can be observed and they can be monitored. And here in Town Hall, they're recorded. Impact is measured monumentally different. Often It's measured by the consensus and the sentiment of the people. In the world in which we're living today, it's most important that we think about this continuum: intent, behavior, impact. Good intentions become irrelevant when behaviors are misguided or misaligned. It's the action that will define the moment. Small actions can have an impact the size of a tsunami wave. So may this paradigm give us all pause as we work together to resolve the impact of prior actions of the Milburn HPC as a committee. And I wish you all good luck and thank you.
Okay, I have a long list, so I think that I'm very, congratulations, Annette, I'm Christine Best, I live in town. And I want to say thank you so much, Frank and Ben, for being so amazing. I had such a pleasure helping. I really, really did. I'm so happy you're here. So I don't need to say much more. I think you guys stand for yourselves and your reputation. I'm going to talk about New Year's resolutions tonight. The town of Milburn could become amazing if they could only create and stick to their New Year's resolutions. I have a few of them. I hope I can get through them all. To hire consultants that possess skill sets that are adequate for the projects they will be working on. Two examples of this were the hiring of telecom attorney Business Deal Slayer in place of a safety and functional technical 5G expert that has both medical and technological expertise, and also hiring Mr. Grillo as a functional retail development expert, which he is not. Urban planning is not a substitute for retail and restaurant commerce. Number two, to inspire the retail community to donate to the downtown commerce development versus levying a tax on retailers who are experts in what they do and do not need to pay for services they already have the skills to do on their own. Number three, to develop a downtown design and aesthetic board which will create new standards and visual codes that emulate towns such as Montclair, Summit, Morristown, and Madison. No more architectural design by numbers, communist housings from the likes of Studio 1200. If we had codes if we had codes controlling this, we wouldn't have seen the Metropolitan from Springfield and all the ugly disproportionate builder specials popping up all over town. This can also be applied to the massive number of overbuilt homes with overdesigned lighting and extreme grading issues. Number four, develop a code to rein in overdevelopment of homes by builders only. Number five, to live to our township up to our township tree laws that are currently not being enforced according to code. Number six, update township codes to not allow any commercial properties in residential areas, including but not limited to places of worship, whatever the religion is. Designate places such as Oakey Tract, Old Short Hills Park, Greenwood Gardens, Taylor Park as do not build or land excavate in perpetuity. Number eight, develop surveys by skilled marketing professionals and publish both raw data and cohort analysis provided by said consultant to illustrate a commitment to transparency in the democratic process. Number nine, lengthen township committee comment time to 6 minutes or 3 minutes comment periods. Number 10, I only have 15. To use our Board of Health to make recommendations of actual physical safety versus a free flu shot clinic. Number 11, develop a code of conduct about lipstick application as illustrated by our ex-township mayor, or have Sephora come and do a demonstration. Number 12, to develop a process of appointing volunteer committee members that is not steeped in secrecy and discrimination against individuals' political ideology or alignment to only the Essex County political party machines. I'm going to skip to the more important ones because I ran out of time, so you can cut me off whenever you want, Ms. Romano. Number 15, develop affordable housing strategies that should be just that, affordable, not a builder's passion project that costs $8,500 a month, which most people making over $500,000 can't afford. Create a forward-looking strategy to accommodate the 7 to 10% increase that we will have in population will greatly affect our school systems. I have a couple more, but I'm going to drop off, and thank you so much and Happy New Year, and thank you for your service.
Hi, I'm Anurag Kadyan. I'm a resident. of Melbourne Short Hills, specifically Marywood Nottingham District. I've been here a couple of times today. It's a day to celebrate democracy, so I'm here to congratulate Mayor Romano on her appointment, congratulate Mr. Stoller and Mr. Saccomondi for joining the committee and starting the term. So good wishes and best of luck for the coming years. I think we have talked about the HPC issue multiple times. I'm very thankful and encouraged as we have engaged with Ms. Romano, Ms. Purpose, Mr. Saccomondi, Mr. Stoller over the past few weeks and months, and we look forward to continuing that conversation. I like the fact that we are looking at a potential review of the HPC ordinance. I like the transparency, Mr. Stoller, that you talked about. It is good to listen to residents' opinions, but at the same time also care about the majority opinion of the residents who will get impacted, not the town as a whole. So that's my few words. Again, congratulations and look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Hi, Antonio Braca, member, lived in this town my whole life. Congratulations, Mayor Romano, your appointment. Congratulations, Ben and Frank. Quick question, and pardon my ignorance here. Is this the proper place to speak about traffic patterns and how the Washington section has really, and Mayor Romano, you know as well as I do, has really been ignored for years. There's cars driving down my street with kids playing on the street at 80 miles an hour all the time, whether they're coming from the deli or whether they're coming from wherever else. And I feel like that's happening more and more with some of the developments that are going up, that it's making people take more side roads than it is the direct road through the town. Maybe this is more for Mr. McDonald or whom, I don't know. However, it's just kids are out playing in the streets again, which is fantastic. And that's what we all did. And that's what we all want for our own kids. And I just want it to be a safer town, especially all the roads in the Washington section are terrible. I know they redid everything with PSE&G right now, and that's a whole nother issue. But I think they should be addressed. I hate speed humps more than anyone in this building, probably. However, if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. I mean, I just think it needs to be safer for the side roads that are getting abused more with the building and traffic that's going on through town. And part B, what's going on with the dump?
Is anyone online?
Sometimes the last is the worst, so. First time caller. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Seth Van Voorhees, how many year resident? 27 years. A suggestion for the committee and the group. One of the things that I found in business when new advisors come in, they're coming in with a new set of eyes that is very refreshing and very helpful. And I hope that I apologize, I don't know the name of the new council for the committee.
Jared Cantor.
I wish you great success and effectiveness in your new role, and congratulations.
Thank you.
One of the things I would suggest, it seems just from an outsider's point of view, is that we have a number of legal issues that have been confronting the town. And one of the things that I would suggest as being helpful for transparency would be, to hear your advice and recommendation on things that have happened in the past and your recommendations about changes that may be made. Because not only will I think the new committee members will benefit from that advice, but I also think it would be helpful in terms of transparency for the community to hear your thoughts on what has been done and what can be done going forward in your recommendations. Two things that come to mind from my perspective. And I'm sure there's many things that I'm not current with, and I can't say that I'm as active as I should be. But, you know, the things that I've seen that have raised my interest level from a legal matter is, you know, obviously the redevelopment and, you know, that and some of the positions in terms of affordable housing that the town has historically taken and may take in the future would be very helpful to hear a legal assessment. As well as the, you know, assessment from the representatives who we would get directly, but they are not legal experts. They're getting your advice. And I think hearing it directly from a new counsel would be very useful and effective. Second issue that comes to mind why I raised the issue is that in the news, there's you hear about the lawsuit about the religious, 28 seconds, I'll try to be efficient, about the lawsuit about zoning for religious houses of worship. It would be very interesting to hear what the town's position on that matter or any other topical issue. I think getting hearing the town's legal position from a legal expert would be very helpful in addition to the leadership from the committee itself. It's my suggestion to you're welcome.
First call.
Good evening. Miss Morgan, can you turn your camera on, please?
Yeah, I wish I could do that. Hold on. I was having trouble with this. Start video.
Hello, Miss Morgan?
Yeah, I hit start video, but for some reason it's, oh, there we go. Is it now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So good evening and welcome Ben and Frank, and congratulations to our new mayor. It sounds like the Township Committee's New Year's resolution is that you're committing yourselves to focus on the important issues before us, and not based on politics, but based on a thorough evaluation of the facts with the help of unbiased, knowledgeable professionals and community input. We residents, your constituents, are going to have to hold up our end of this resolution also. Arriving at policies and solutions that are really best for the township is going to mean that we're going to have to leave party and emotions behind. It also means that we have to understand that sometimes the best decisions for the township are going to leave some of us residents unhappy. And a perfect example of this is probably fair share housing. If sound informed reason dictates the solution should be that the resolution should be passed before the court hearing on January 19th, everyone who's emotionally committed to rejecting it is going to be up in arms, and the reverse will be true. If the Township Committee is thoroughly informed and decides to continue to fight the court in fair share housing, then those who think it wisest to sign up, will carry on Facebook and elsewhere. So despite education, we're going to continue to be divided and dysfunctional. And I think that would be a travesty for a township whose residents probably hold enough degrees to wallpaper over half the houses in Millburn and Short Hills. I have no data to back that up, needless to say. As I said before, you know, fair share housing may not give residents a seat at the table when it comes to making the decision as to how many and where affordable units meet our requirement under Mount Laurel Doctrine. The Township Committee, though, should not embark on a lawsuit or put the township in jeopardy of being sued or saddled with an expensive daily penalty or endless expensive litigation without giving residents the opportunity to fully understand our situation and participate in deciding our course going forward. And to that end, and I think the gentleman before me said something similar, I'm asking the Township Committee to hold a virtual or in-person or hybrid forum so professionals can lay out our options and the legal and financial consequences associated with any direction we might choose. I just think that it will really go a long way, I think, to uniting us. And as I said earlier, not all of us are going to be happy with the outcome, but I think at least we should all have the information we need to come to some decision that makes sense and maybe unites us a little bit better than we are right now. And that's pretty much all I have to say. But welcome aboard, you guys.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Urso.
Good evening, Perry Urso, property owner, resident, merchant. Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to what 24 will bring Milburn Township. Together with my family, we'd like to welcome Ben and Frank and wish all the members of this body the very best. And thank you all for your willingness to serve Milburn Short Hills. Good evening, Perry Urso. Oh, I'm getting a relay, sorry. Merchant. Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to what Milburn Township. Together with my family, we'd like to welcome Ben and Frank. And all... Wait, sorry. I'm not technically challenged, as you could see. So regarding the resolution 21-001, adopting the 2024 temporary budget, line item 32, the appropriation for the special improvement district. Item number 32, the special improvement district in the amount of $55,000. I would reiterate with Mr. Feld's comments, and I would respectfully ask if you could explain why $55,000 is being appropriated, and if approved, how will the monies be allocated? Would it be used for general operating expenses, executive director salaries, or for the property owners and/or merchants? Additionally, considering the last TC meeting of 2023, executive director declined to make comments per mayor's request. And how was the SID budget passed anonymously without unmet answers to questions made by Committeewoman Prupus and then Mayor Miggins? Mr. Phelps also already stated, and regarding the same meeting, that there were structural defects within the SID ordinance. Number one, what does that statement mean? How will that statement be rectified of any defects? And what impact will it have on the property owners and/or merchants? And lastly, I would recommend Milburn take a page from Chatham's playbook, who does not have a SID, but yet works closely with their chambers of commerce. And also one of the only towns that have a 2-hour free patron parking. Thank you again for your time. Have a wonderful evening and Happy New Year.
Good evening, Ms. Stone.
I know I'm here. Just a second. I have to put the video on. All right, Nancy Stone, it's Mrs. Stone. Just for the clarity, since I want to congratulate Ben and Frank for joining the TC. Finally, we have some leadership on the board that I can be proud of. I want to congratulate Frank for being the deputy mayor. I also want to congratulate Ben for being my mayor. He is my mayor. I also want to decline the appointment to the HPC. I will not serve under any other mayorship but Ben or Frank, which I made very clear, but obviously someone was not listening. So find somebody else to serve. Hopefully that'll be somebody competent that will be able to do the job that I would have done for these two wonderful TC members. Thank you so much. And I agree, if you're serious about nonpartisan, then step down from the Democratic Committee. because otherwise it's always going to be about politics, and I've endorsed Democrats and Republicans. So for me, party doesn't matter. It's about quality of leadership and the qualifications, and certainly you do not have that. Thank you.
Unreal, that's certainly not kind. What did you say? That's not kind. Not kind at all. Am I the only one who speaks up for kindness? I guess so, right? Is that kind? No, I think you should.
It's always.
You can say-
We're going- we're going to-
I guess so. I guess so.
I always want to bring up that.
You're up.
Good evening. Just one question. Do any of the new members have any feelings concerning changing the type of government? Perhaps Faulkner. We've heard of Faulkner. Would someone like to comment about that? Some of the townspeople have heard of it. I've read about it. You've read about it. Type of government, perhaps we can look into that. Possibility? You're familiar with it? You're familiar with it? Perhaps. That's all. Good luck.
Thank you.
No Happy New Year, come on.
You put your name on it.
For the record, my name is Alan Carlin. I've been in this town for 30 years, and I'm not an owner. I own no property in this town. I've owned in other towns. I've been a landlord. I'm a tenant, and I go after landlords. I'm being sued by many landlords. I have never been evicted, and I pay my rent all the time. And I was in court today, and the case was adjourned. I have 2 more cases, but I like going after people who don't keep properties up to snuff, get many, many violations and so forth. I think enforcement is a very, very important thing. If there's a code violation, they should be fined, not just just slap on the wrist, but if it's a major violation, that's what a $2,000 fine is for, per violation, or $2,500, whatever. And then perhaps they'll take it seriously, some landlords. Many are good, but some are not that good. Thank you.
Richard Seibert, town resident, almost 25 years. Congratulations to the new township committee. I hope you all work together. I always say to people, small steps, big accomplishments. That's what I'm hoping. That's what everybody's hoping, for all of you to work together. I want to echo a few things. Eric Osterman, going to echo what he said. Do I need to repeat it? I will. You should just be mayor to the residents of the town, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Being the head of the Democratic Party labels you. We don't want to be labeled anymore. These guys ran so there would be no label. So I just hope, and I'm sure everybody in the room here hopes, that we don't see that we don't see the outside Democratic parties come into this town and tell us what to do. There's too many smart people in this town, too many. And everyone's going to be watching now because everybody came out and watched the election in November. So be kind, share love, check with the residents, think twice, act once, and work together. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Bill Kirsch, Milburn resident. Of course, congratulations to the new committee people, the mayor, and Frank as deputy chair. And I like very much what I heard and saw today from the committee about civility and respect. And maybe it's not necessary, but I want to remind myself and the residents and the people who call in to also display that civility and respect. I think I've seen that more coming out from some people who call in or come to the meetings and feel that they're able to forget the position of the committee and just speak with first names and other ways of displaying disrespect as if they were the only one with the right opinion. They were the only ones with the right answers. And I think you're setting a good example for us tonight. But I ask the rest of us in the town to follow that example. And I think we'll have a much better and more productive year in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now close the public comment period. So I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to respond to any of the comments made tonight, starting with you, Committeeman Stoller.
Thank you. Okay, I have two remarks. One, thank you so much for those remarks there. You know, protocol, without procedure, without process, you have chaos. Chaos is people yelling wildly on the dais. Outburst. All comments are made directly to the mayor, is my understanding, correct?
No,
Is that correct? So as mayor, you should understand that all comments are made to you, not to the dais, and there's no interaction, is my understanding, correct?
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay, so from that standpoint, as we follow process, protocol, and procedure, and to avoid chaos and wild outbursts, I think to exhibit the professionalism, the civility, the respect, we need to follow that protocol. So as we have things, and I will always be the first to rebuke lack of kindness. But we need to follow some semblance of protocol in this exhibit that in our execution of our duties as TC members. Second, I'll discuss a couple items on the affordable housing. I think it was fantastic to talk about it, the transparency that's requested. Frank and I made that one of the major pillars of our campaign. 65%, over 65% of the town voted for us, and that was the pillar. So I think we know how the town feels. As a priority for Millburn Short Hills, I think it's a fantastic idea to have an open session, to have our new legal counsel be able to articulate the positives and negatives without giving up strategy, of course. Millburn, affordable housing will always be a priority, but done in a sensible manner, thinking about the school system, thinking about the economics, thinking about the infrastructure, thinking about the policing and the other municipal items, including fire, thinking about the traffic through the through streets. We need to do it in a sensible manner, and we don't need to do it in an exclusionary fashion. And I think that's a big part of it. Millburn believes in affordable housing, but let's do it correctly. And let's do it without writing a blank check to a developer. I don't know if you guys saw that the judge actually extended our motion from January 5th to January 19th. That's a good step. But one thing's really bothered me. It was a chilling effect that one of the lawyers for Fair Share Housing put in their motion. They said that township committee members should be liable for the fines personally. When you do that, it's a chilling effect, not only on this township committee, but on every township committee in New Jersey. It's absolutely wrong. And what they're doing is putting a shot across the bow. So we all need to understand what we're dealing with here. And we're dealing, with the Fair Share Housing. And I don't want to go too far into strategy, but those are my comments there. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Cohen?
I don't have anything new to say from what I said before.
Deputy Mayor Sacamendi?
So Mr. Braca brought up traffic issues in the Washington section. I certainly agree that there are probably some severe traffic issues there. People tend to cut through that area. I think there's been a lot of complaints about traffic as a whole in town, and I think we ought to consider doing a holistic traffic study. We should look at the parts of town that need the study the most, prioritize those, and do updated holistic study that's done during a time of year when we have peak traffic. A lot of traffic studies that have done in the past, done over the summer. The town tends to clear out over the summer. So I think we really do need to get proper consultants and really start looking at some of these traffic issues, especially as the town grows, as more developments come online. We're really going to need to get a handle on this because we can't keep going with the status quo. So that's something that I'm hoping that we as a committee can address in future meetings. To the gentleman, Mr. Is it Carling? You had mentioned, looking into changing the form of government, and this is something that I have been an advocate of. As far as going from a non-Faulkner Act government, which we have now, to a Faulkner Act form of government, I believe the process requires creating a commission. And I believe that that requires a supermajority. So I personally am willing to vote for the creation of that committee at a future meeting. I would encourage the other members on this dais to do the same because that would allow us the most flexibility in studying the various forms of government that are available and allowing residents to have input in that process. And then ultimately there could be a referendum on that. There are other ways to do nonpartisan. We could go to another non-Faulkner Act form of government, and that can be done via a direct petition. And that's something that we can explore down the road if we need to. But I would really like this committee to think long and hard and seriously about going through the process of forming a charter commission to analyze the alternative forms of government that are available, and then ultimately to give residents a referendum on that. So that's something that I support, and maybe we start by having a advisory committee put together of individuals that are interested in this and having them study for a month or two the various options and then advising the committee on the best way forward. So that'd be something I'd be interested in discussing in a future meeting. And then one note on civility. For the most part, tonight has been one of the most civil meetings that we've had in a long time. And that needs to continue. And I'm going to say to the people that supported me, I know a lot of you are probably disappointed with how things turned out tonight. But look, we make the best of what we're dealt with. And I really do feel that the members on this dais are ready to start working together with one another. As Mr. Stoller pointed out, we do have a mandate from the town with regards to affordable housing and a few other things. So we're going to work as a committee to advance what's best for Milburn. But in that same vein, we need the public, members of the public, to take a good faith leap with us as well and be civil to one another. We can't resort to the tribalism that we've seen in the past. We need to treat each other with respect. So I know one of the commentators on Zoom, I would say that's an example of what not to do. I'm a little disappointed in that individual for how they treated our new mayor. So I would say let's all remember we're friends and neighbors, and let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about the substance. Let's not resort to name calling. Let's not resort to personal attacks. We're better than that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Committeewoman Probus? Yes. I think I'm gonna go back to kindness because I think everyone sits up here and talks about being kind, but unless you call out when someone's being unkind, you can say whatever you want whenever. And it doesn't hold any weight. Because unless you call out someone when they're being unkind, they will just continue and continue and continue. And maybe even when you call out someone for being unkind, they will continue to be unkind. But we're trying to start the new year out differently. And it's the amount of disrespect that comes out. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have an honest reaction to it, like, that's not okay. It's not okay. And if I see something that's not okay, I'm gonna say it's not okay. So that wasn't being kind. Mr. Cantor, are you gonna give kind of are you gonna address the fair share housing and where we stand now and kind of give an update to, I don't know that, they don't know what's happened.
So Committee, I was gonna give just a brief update in response to the questions or comment that were made tonight. And then I was gonna give a more fuller presentation either at our next meeting, which will be before the court appearance, or at another time if it's decided by this committee. But I am prepared to give a brief summary of where we stand today.
Okay, great. And just to that point, I think that we need to get something scheduled for the public to be able to disclose what you can disclose to them.
I mean, I'm happy to do whatever the committee requests, other than not much has changed since the last update, and I'll provide an update tonight, but if more information is needed, I'm happy to attend any meeting scheduled by this committee.
Great, thanks. So I think one of the points is that as Stephanie Morgan had said, I just think people need to be aware of all the different possibilities that could come down. Right, done, thank you.
Agreed, thank you. Mr. McDonald, do you wanna go first?
I'll just answer a few questions regarding, in particular, the temporary budget. I think we've gone through this in previous years where the temporary budget is authorizing up to 26.25% of the previous year's budget. Doesn't necessarily mean it's 26.25% of each line item. So that they could be allocated in any way that is deemed necessary by the operations of the town. In particular, if the one item of note, which is the special improvement district that's been brought up multiple times, the special improvement district won't go through its assessment process until the next meeting, and won't have any funds coming into the to the special improvement district until April. So that 55,000 is, yes, it is the portion in the ordinance that the township is responsible for the executive director's salary. However, it is likely being used for operations for the special improvement organization until such time as the assessments are received. So again, that is the full portion of the township's allocation. And there are other items in here such as note principal and note interest, which are in the temporary budget in full because that comes due at the end of January. And again, it's 26.25% of the entire budget. Just to answer a little bit of some with the resolution with regard to those payments that can be made outside of a township committee meeting. I didn't see anything in there regarding salary and wage, but again, once the temporary budget and the budget are approved, salary and wage are included in that, and the township does pay that on a bi-weekly basis. But for expenses such as what we are obligated to pay to the school and to the county, and just for reference, the township is the tax collector. We are the ones that we must pay the school and we must pay the county. We do anything that is short is on the township, which is why in our budget, you'll see a reserve for uncollected taxes. Generally, we do collect in the ballpark of 99%, but we are obligated to pay those portions to the school and to the county every month. So those do get paid off cycle at times, usually through an ACH or a wire transfer. And as it's stated in that resolution, it does require the signature of the chief financial officer and myself to do so. I think that was all I had at this time. If there's something else that the committee wanted me to answer.
Mr. Cantor.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank the mayor, the deputy mayor, and all committee members for the appointment tonight and your confidence in me and my firm. I look forward to serving the township and its residents, and I also appreciate some of the nice comments that were made to me before the meeting and during the meeting. I will address, obviously, a fair share housing update. Just for background, there was a case management conference held on November 27th to address some of the outstanding issues in the settlement agreement. The major issue right now is a redevelopment agreement. By order entered on November 27th, this committee was to have adopted a redevelopment agreement by December 6th. That agreement was not fully negotiated. terms were left to still be negotiated. I don't think it's appropriate for a court to put leverage on any governing body to adopt or accept an agreement when it's not in final form. It's a two-party negotiation. Both parties didn't come to a conclusion. What was interesting is at no time did the developer raise an issue that we were negotiating in bad faith. At no time did the developer say that we were dragging our feet. So I think it's inappropriate as we argued to the court that the court should put an arbitrary deadline to try to get something done by a calendar year. A calendar year is something we all live by, but it has no relationship to getting an agreement done or building on a piece of property or taking on a project. So saying that you want something done in a calendar year of 2023 is just arbitrary, and we had a basis for why we needed more time. We did not, the committee did not adopt the redevelopment agreement. And then on December 15th, I received a notice from the court. It was late Friday afternoon that the court was bringing us in on December 18th for another case management conference. Again, at no time did the developer or even Fair Share Housing Corporation write to the court to say that we had not adopted the agreement. At no time did the developer complain that the process in which Milburn was taking was too long. However, the court had a case management conference on December 18th. I believe some of the residents were on that Zoom, and the court took a very harsh tone with the township. So in my experience, and I know I was brought up on the township attorney in Livingston. I also served as a township attorney in North Caldwell, in Morris Township, and the town of Dover, all of which have extremely complex fair share housing obligations. I've also been a litigator the better part of my career doing complex litigation. A case management order is put into place to set dates in which parties believe they can accomplish things. A case management conference is there to address those dates and whether or not there needs to be more time and how the parties are dealing with those dates. And those of you who practice law understand that. There was no motion to enforce the order. There was nobody complaining that we had not completed this. The court on its own, it's called sua sponte, took a very harsh opinion that we were in breach of the court's order, and by the court's own, again, sua sponte on its own, was going to enforce its own order and threatened to begin to sanction the township daily until this redevelopment agreement was complete. I advise the court, and those of you who heard, I thought it's highly inappropriate that the court is taking this position. The court isn't our adversary. The court is supposed to be an objective party. The developers weren't asking for this, neither was Fair Share Housing Corporation. At that time, the court decided to then give us until January 5th to complete, and kind of gave Fair Share Housing Corporation and the attorneys for the developer the opportunity to file a motion to seek those sanctions, which the court had already articulated the court felt was appropriate. Those sanctions, again, were articulated to be twofold. I think the most significant are daily fines to the Township of Milburn until an agreement is executed, and secondarily, our immunity is lifted from builders' remedies lawsuits, which again, we entered into a settlement agreement for the immunity to avoid builders' remedies lawsuits. That's what the settlement agreement is about. So a motion was filed, and it was filed as a cross motion, and it's a little technical, but it was filed last Thursday night after business hours before a holiday weekend, and it was hundreds of pages. And in that, again, as expected, and I think the developer's attorney and Fair Share Housing Corporation filed almost simultaneously. The developer's motion was much less harsh than Fair Share Housing Corporation's was, and I believe that's probably a strategy on their part. But Fair Share Housing Corporation sought these extreme, which the committeeman addressed, of personal fines to the elected officials, which is obscene. It's their official capacity. I mean, people have jobs. You understand if you do something in your job, you're not personally liable. Moreover, we have an election. They have their mandate. They're doing what they believe is best for the residents in their official capacity as township officials. So I think that was a little bit of an overreach, and I think the committeeman hit it right on the head It was dark to be chilling. So upon receiving that, and again, the judge was adamant that she was not going to move the hearing from the 5th. And we had thought that that was their strategy, and we had actually drafted a brief ahead of time, which is a little bit of the inside, knowing what was going to be said, just in case that's what happened. But we did ask for adjournment. We thought that the motion wasn't a proper cross motion. We should have proper time to respond to it. And the judge granted that adjournment request today over the objections of Fair Share Housing Corporation and the developer. So it'll be heard on the 19th. Our papers are due the Monday before that Friday, and we'll be filing, addressing all issues. But most notably, and I was going to be brief, but I'm a lawyer, so I'll continue to talk because apparently we charge by the word. I think what's unique is there's two mechanisms, and it's been said here before. You have your RDP, which is your realistic development potential, and those are the projects that you need to build. Those are the projects that they're not quite shovel ready, but they're realistic and they should get built. Then you have your unmet need, and there's many mechanisms to address that unmet need, but it's an unmet need, and everybody understands that we have a responsibility, a constitutional mandate, and a constitutional responsibility to meet that unmet need and to bring affordable housing to the township. One of the mechanisms to meet the unmet need was the all-inclusive project, the 75-unit all-inclusive project. There are many contingencies in it. There's a lot to it. And the harshness of the penalties in which the court and Fair Share Housing Corporation are seeking for our inability to do the project for unmet need is unprecedented. The language in the settlement agreement that addresses this project and the harsh ramifications of not fulfilling an unmet need obligation are very harsh. Those will be brief. Those will be part of what is in our papers, among other arguments. But the judge and those of you who are on the Zoom, and I know there was a lot of residents on the Zoom, saw the demeanor of the court. The court believes it's all a delay tactic. So I don't know how that's quite going to go, but I can tell you that, I've had conversations with the incumbent committee members. I've had conversations with the newly elected committee members, and they're committed. We're committed to putting the best legal arguments forth on behalf of the township. So that's kind of the state of where we are. As far as the new law goes for the next round, my firm has put a comprehensive memo together, which I will circulate to the committee through Madam Clerk. It'll be a confidential memo. It's up to the committee how they want to handle that, and our administrator. And I'm happy to go through that with the residents. And we'll certainly be able to give a presentation on that. But we're a year out from that, and it's clear within that it does not affect your prior round obligation. So nothing in there impacts where we are today. And the only other comment I have from what I heard from the public is on the change form of government. Again, I have a pretty comprehensive memo on what entails that. I'm happy to circulate this committee again confidentially through the clerk, and they can do with that information as they see. And if the committee has any other questions for me, I'm happy to provide any further response. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions from a member of the committee in regards to a consent agenda resolution? May I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-001 through 24-035, except resolution 24-021 listed on the consent agenda? Listed on the consent agenda.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Krupas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sepulvedi?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
Yes.
Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
May I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.